from New York is not the Saturday Night Live. It's actually the Pinstripe Chronicles Live. Both of us are in New York. How's it going, Uncle T?
Things are going better after the game yesterday for the Yankees, but it almost feels like it's going to be I don't know if this is a smokescreen, bro. Like, is this like are the Yankees going to really start to put things together? I thought that Fried yesterday looked like the ace that we had in the beginning of the season, with the exception of a couple of errors from who. We'll get into that. But I think that, when you see an outing like that from Fried after he's had some disappointing outings, you kind of feel like things are starting to move in the right direction, paired with the offense and defense capabilities of Bellinger. It seems like things are starting to fall into place a little bit. We actually have a third baseman. We haven't been able to talk about that together. So like there are things that are looking like they're on the up, but is it enough? I think that's the big question over the next, 24, what are we now, 30 hours away from the deadline, something like that.
Is it enough? I could probably answer that quickly. No. But let's talk about the Yankees' big moves, because they've been fairly active in acquiring a third baseman. Rewind back to when we did a Pinstripe Chronicles show talking about which third baseman we would consider acquiring. I actually had McMahon as my number one target.
Yes, you did.
McMahon was my number one target, not necessarily because he's my favorite player that was available, but I felt, he's maybe someone that you can buy low and maybe get a little bit something out of. I like the acquisition. He's a great defender, not just a good defender. He's a great defender. And offensively, he's going to be just one of many as opposed to like the chosen one over there in Colorado. So he'll maybe get better pitches to hit as a Yankee. Thus, he might do something, because I could maybe see his offense slightly improving as a Yankee. And so far, marginal improvement. So I don't know. I quite like the idea of him as a buy low candidate. The only thing is he strikes out a lot, and this is a Yankee lineup that strikes out a lot. So I don't really know if he's actually the answer long term. But he's certainly the best third baseman that we've had, probably since A-Rod. And that's kind of scary. I don't think he's the long-term answer. I really don't. But I think that he was definitely an upgrade. He makes the team better. The one that was a little odd was the Rosario pickup. Not because it's Rosario, because I actually like Rosario.
I think he's a good piece. He's a healthier DJ.
It's just though, where are you going to play him?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to platoon him with McMahon? Well, then why did you trade for McMahon if he's only going to be a platoon player? He's an expensive. McMahon would be a very expensive platoon player if you platoon him, because you're going to be paying him $16 million next year. So I don't really understand the Rosario pickup. Why didn't you just sign Rosario in the offseason? And that's what it comes down to. Like, what were the Yankees doing in the offseason? Why did they just leave third base completely empty? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's not like I don't like Rosario. I think he's a decent pickup.
I don't think it was a wasted
Rosario trade. Short, but Rosario doesn't actually have that much experience in short.
He's
only played like 12 games there. It was a fine pickup. It's just a little odd. And why did it cost us Clayton Beater? That is expensive for someone who's just going to be a rental. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Beater's probably ass, but you maybe think that he would have been worth a little bit more than for a utility guy on a team of utility guys. Let's be honest. Rosario is just another, utility guy and a whole team of utility guys. So you know what I mean? The platoon guys, I should say, guys that can only face lefties or whatever. I don't know, man. It felt a little bit odd. I just wish that the Yankees actually had acquired a third baseman in the offseason, and the Yankees wouldn't be in this spot. Let's be honest. Prices are high this time of year, exactly.
Yeah,
and it was a little bit costly, but it was an okay trade. But I don't really see where you're going to play him, because they're not going to play him as shortstop, because they've got Volpe, basically the red carpet treatment. So he's not going to play short. Yeah. He's not going to play second base, because Jazz plays second base. And he's not going to – is he going to play third base? Then what are you going to do to McMahon? I guess McMahon's just going to be a platoon player. So, like, what does he actually really add?
That's why I think they're looking at him just a healthier DJ.
And then obviously Perez is going to be traded for nothing.
That's the sin of the whole scenario. Is, you know, the red carpet for Volpe and Peraza kind of, you know, he's, you know, walking behind everybody that's been given a fair shot, you know, with a dustpan and a broom, picking up all the pieces, you know, from a failed from a failed philosophical organization, because they really don't have.
They have no philosophy.
You brought up A-Rod, right? That's how far back we had to go before we had a legitimate third baseman, and he was playing short when we got him. You know, we had to move him to third. So the whole theory of Boone playing everybody out of position, this is something the Yankees have been doing for a while. If you really look at it, like when you look at the corner of the infield, you have to go back to A-Rod and Teixeira when we really had a lockdown first baseman that you could just sit back and watch. That's unacceptable. Absolutely, it's absolutely unacceptable that's how far back you have to go when there were so many options available throughout the years. But the Yankees have their heads in the sand. Our prospects are the best prospects that baseball could ever produce, but we're not going to play them where they belong. You know, Peraza, your boy, one of the better infield gloves that we've had in development. No, we're not going to use them. You know, we're going to play Volpe. And look, I stand on it. When they gave Volpe the opening day job, I was happy about it. I thought he had a really good spring. I like the fact that one thing that I did champion is they didn't play with the manipulation for the timeline for the years of service. They let him go right from day one. They didn't wait until they could squeak out another year before arbitration. Like, it looked like they were starting to change their way a little bit. But let's be honest, looking back in hindsight, they did choose the wrong guy.
Yeah. I want to pick up on this comment here. We finally have a real third baseman. We are complaining. So first off, I did say at the start of the show, like literally 8 minutes ago, that McMahon was my number one target. So
yeah,
I'm hardly complaining. I'm actually pretty happy with the acquisition. What I'm saying though is, dude, if you want a podcast that's going to wave pom poms, it's not going to be this. I'm giving you the honest truth here. The Yankees stumble from one deadline to the next. They don't really have a philosophy. They just kind of stumble. Like they didn't have a third baseman in the offseason. They left it open. Left it in and now. Is McMahon like the third baseman that you want to be going forward with for the next 2-3 years? They just stumble into each deadline, man. I don't know what their philosophy is. And that, I'm just being perfectly honest. If anyone could tell me in this chat what the Yankees' philosophy is, please do. Because it's not entirely clear. I mean, just look at the way this roster is constructed. They have like 3 catchers. They have a ton of lefties, like a million lefty bats. They have like 3 catchers. They didn't have a third baseman. They don't have a shortstop. So if you want me to wave pom poms just because we won one game against the Rays, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah, wait, I would replace Book. I would definitely replace Boone. You could go back through the archives. Boone was not out. Believe me, we were not happy when they brought in Boone. And I think FJ here, we're gonna get to everybody in the chat. Everybody's gonna get their shots, their roll calls in a moment. But yeah, FJ's right on. If Cashman addressed the third base issue in the offseason, his team would be in a better position. No Bregman because of money. Fact. You know, they're self-imposed cap. But $16 million for a $200 200 hitter is fine. Like, that's why I keep saying it's a healthier DJ. You know what? If he's going to be able to do what we wanted DJ to do, then I think that, you know, as far as the move with Rosario, not McMahon, the Rosario is the one I'm saying is a healthier DJ.
Right. No, I mean, I like the Rosario pickup.
You know, it may have cost us beater, but we really didn't, you know, we really kept a lot of our key guys where in the next, 30 hours, Cashman can still make some significant moves to improve the bullpen because the bullpen's what's going to be expensive, not your fielders. So I think Cashman is now, will his executions work out? That's to be determined. But at least he still has enough, enough players in the camps where in the minors that he can make, a good move for relief pitching. Because I think relief pitching to me right now is more of a priority than starting rotation.
It has to be. Yeah, we've got a lot to cover. Luca's got a good point here. Good morning to the chat. Good morning to you. Luca was at the game yesterday. Yankees have no vision or foresight, which is exactly my point. McMahon was an upgrade, exactly my point, but the bar was low as hell, exactly my point. Wouldn't move forward with him as third baseman. So that's kind of what we're saying here. Is this like McMahon, like in isolation, is a very good acquisition. It's just, do you want to move forward with him over the next 2 years? And it's really about the Yankees' vision or lack of. What is their vision or foresight? They just don't really have it. They're just going to stumble into each year. And to go to Ken's point, the Yankees' philosophy is to get short-term bandages for IL holes. Exactly. It's just like they spit out a big wad of gum and they just stick it on a hole and hope that that holds you until the next deadline. That's the Yankees' philosophy. And so in isolation, I like Rosario. In isolation, I actually like McMahon. I like both acquisitions. But
does it really move the needle to a championship level team?
Yeah. Is it going to move the needle significantly?
There's still a lot more work to be done.
I would say no. I mean, sure, I would like Rosario to be our shortstop, but we know what the Yankees are. We know what the Yankees are going to do. They're not going to move Volpe because they have a lot invested in Volpe. Cashman can't admit that he's wrong, so you're going to see Volpe play everyday shortstop. He's not going to play at second because you got Jazz at second. So is he going to platoon McMahon? In which case, McMahon's going to be a very expensive platoon player, right? So why make the trade in the first place if you're just going to get another platoon? That's what I'm saying. It's not that I'm criticizing everything. I'm trying to see the wood for the trees. I'm trying to take a step back and giving you the overall vision here, and I can't really tell you what the overall Yankee vision is, and that's my criticism of Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman's moves are generally pretty good. It's just that he's run this Yankee organization for years without really much of a vision. They're just sort of like, oh, well, we kind of want to develop our prospects, but we also kind of want to go in, but we're not going to go all in. We're just going to kind of dip our toes, and it doesn't really move us forward. But obviously some people are going to say I'm being overly negative or whatever, but I'm just giving you the honest truth. That's where we're at. That's why the Yankees have not really improved over the years. They haven't. They've not really taken that huge step forward, and they should. They really should. With their resources, with $300 million, they should have been able to have a third baseman. Why is McMahon the best third baseman we've had since Gio Urshela, since A-Rod? Right? I mean, that's wild. And why is Goldschmidt the best first baseman we've had in years and years and years and years, and he's still declining massively? I mean, that's this kind
It's
of
not the same
story.
Goldschmidt we started the season with.
No, absolutely, because he's 38.
But
What do you expect?
again, another feather in your cap. You wanted Goldschmidt 2 years ago.
Well, that's when you want to get these guys. You don't want to get them when they're 38 and they're about a year and a bit away from retiring.
Yep.
In isolation, Goldschmidt was a really good move, but over long term, there wasn't really any long term vision there. They're always just going to kick the can down the line, put a bit of chewing gum on that hole, and hope that it holds for the next year. But also, another way to look at it is you're paying DJ LeMahieu to go away. Right now, you've got McMahon. That's $16 million. That's like $31 million to third base plus Rosario's couple million there. That's a lot of money tied to a position that's not going to really give you much of a WAR. So it just shows how the Yankees have completely mishandled third base, and it's very frustrating. I don't really quite know what they're doing, but really, I think that their plan this deadline is actually the right one, because this team is not good enough, and they're not a couple moves away to win a World Series. So it makes sense to make marginal improvements, upgrade the bullpen, add a third baseman, add a good utility player, and the team will be better, and at least they'll be competitive in a wild card spot. That's what they're doing. It makes sense because this is the year to go all in. I've been saying it. I basically said if the Yankees lost the Blue Jays series, which they did, I would not go all in at this deadline. So what the Yankees are doing is probably right. It's just frustrating because they should be better than this. They've just come off a World Series, and they're very far off what it would take. And then you're looking at the Astros; they're making serious moves. They want to try and bring in Carlos Correa back. The Astros are in a better position than the Yankees are. The Blue Jays have been kicking our ass. So I'm just being realistic here. I think it's very disappointing how the Yankees have declined this much, and it's really wasting Aaron Judge, and that'll be their biggest. That's one of the biggest crimes. But in this era of no accountability, certain Yankee fans will be really happy with this. Oh look, we're competitive every year. Well, it's not the standards that are set for the New York Yankees. So I hold them to those older standards. Ivan, they've mishandled the law. The medical staff is terrible. It's disgraceful. They should all be ashamed of themselves the way they've handled this. Tommy John for Dominguez, Cole, Heel, Hicks, Torres, others. Judge has the same injury as Cole did at the start of last year. That's a concern. What they have done, and like you could even look at this year. It was quite clear that Aaron Judge was struggling in Toronto. It was pretty obvious that he had some sort of an arm injury because he was just kind of lofting the ball over there. It was clear that there was an injury there. And Aaron Boone's just like, nothing, everything's fine. Everyone's cool. No worries there. What? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It further aggravated the injury. And then what about the way that they had Leiter pitch with a broken leg for a couple of outings? He had a broken leg, essentially, and they still had Leiter pitching for a couple of days. Clark Schmidt, it was only just a couple of weeks ago. It was taking him longer to recover from each start. They didn't look at it. They're like, he'll be fine. And it got him and made this injury seriously worse. They are so bad at handling injuries. Big G was telling them since last August that he had seriously bad tennis elbows on both elbows. And the Yankees were like, I'll be fine. I'll just wait it out through the offseason. It'll be okay. This is the way that the Yankees treat
and then they sat all off season doing shit. Waited
exactly.
till
This is how the Yankees treat their stars. This is how the Yankees treat their players.
Yeah.
They mishandle them. It's disgraceful, and it puts us in a bad spot. And they should be ashamed of themselves. But in this era of no accountability, Brian Cashman will deny all of this. But we're not going to deny it. We're going to give you the facts. They have mishandled all these players, all of them. Garrett Cole. What about that spring training start where he threw like 30, 40 pitches? He took him out of the game, and then he brought him in for the next one in spring training, and then we never seen him since. Now, I'm not saying that was the reason why he got Tommy John, but if for someone who is at risk of a Tommy John, is that really how you treat your star ace? You've got to be better with these. You've got to be better than this. Then Luis Gil came down with a huge injury. And it's just like the Yankees completely mishandle all their players, and then they always just deny everything.
Nothing to see here.
And it's just, oh, that didn't happen. Oh, it was just bad luck. It's always bad luck.
Yeah.
How is it always bad luck? You just look at what's going on. All these players are getting hurt. Players playing on a broken leg. What about what they did to Anthony Rizzo?
Yep.
I mean, he got absolutely flattened like he was playing football. And then suddenly he went from a 300 batting average to like a 050 batting average. And then they were like, don't know what's going on here. He's fine. He's healthy. No, he's actually got a concussion, but you're just playing him anyway. This is what the Yankees do to their players. I'm shocked that anybody actually wants to sign for the Yankees with the way they handle their players. They get them hurt. And if they're hurt, they just keep playing them. Yep. Aaron Judge should have been rested. He should have been DH'd through that Blue Jays series. And maybe we're not in this spot. I don't know.
I brought it up on Monday. We all saw him wincing. The whole world saw it. Everybody but the Yankees. It's they got their blinders on because they need him in the they needed to him in the lineup to sell seats. They got to sell tickets because there's nobody else besides a handful of other guys. Nobody's running through the door to watch this team right now. Despite and I know the ticket sales and the crowds have been great. And shout out to everybody that's ride or dying with this team. Believe me, we're going to be there tomorrow. And every good play we're going to be cheering. Every bad play we're going to boo. The only one not getting booed is Ken Claus, as he has now gifted a membership out to one of our amazing subscribers. Ken always coming through in the clutch. And let's shout out everybody that is in the chat hanging out this morning. We got Donnie hanging out. We got Doran. We got John the Beagle Dad, Ivan, and Peach Ball is hanging out. We brought up Ken. We got Luca hanging out. What's going on, Luca? Demon Deep just popped in. What's going on, Demon? Good to see you in the chat again. We also had Jonathan as well. Stephen B. What's going on, Stephen B? Dev Finch. Dev, hope your finger's feeling good. Let me know. And old Sarge hanging out. So we got a really great chat going on. Joe Colo, what's going on? Just want to do a quick stroll at Mark T-Maker. What's going on, Mark? Appreciate all the comments that are coming in as we break things down for you.
We have almost 40 people watching on ahead. So a big salute to you
Barrows
guys.
right now. Yep. And Sunil got the membership. Congratulations, Sunil. Make sure you tip your waitress. We got 67 people watching right now. You got on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. If you want to join the chat, just hop over on YouTube, hit that sub button, join the chat as we go on with the show. Look, the big issue is, right? Here's something I want to bring into the discussion. I know in the headline it mentions Freed, but I've been trying to make sure that we always end on a positive. So we will get into Freed and his comeback on the mound yesterday. But there's a big debate right now whether the Yankees should be buyers or sellers in the next, couple hours, right? I looked it up. You know who in 2016, where we just broke things down? Who did we get our asses handed by? You remember the team we played that just completely buried us and forced the Yankees to start selling off?
You do it, bro.
The Rays.
You're right.
The Rays is what really made us, you know what? It's not our year. And they moved a couple of pieces, Miller, Chapman, right? So I think it's kind of funny that this year we're in the same discussion and who we playing going into the deadline? The Rays. So maybe history's getting ready to repeat itself. What do you think?
The Rays
Think about it, right?
The Rays always handle us, man.
Well, the
Well,
East
what
always
about-
handled.
I mean, to be honest, the series for me, which describes the Yankees, this modern Yankees under Cashman and Aaron Boone in a nutshell, was actually a Rays series, but it was actually in the playoffs. Because the point where we had the opener with Davy Garcia and then J Happ, it was one of the biggest mistakes.
What a disaster.
It's one of the biggest mistakes in modern Yankee history.
12
right?
straight shows we brought that up way back.
Exactly. It was one of the biggest mistakes in modern Yankee history, right? And it was the reason why the Yankees lost that series. They completely mishandled that to the point where their biggest defender, Michael Kay, even said, "What the hell was that? That's disgraceful." Right? It cost them a series. It cost them momentum. It was stupid. None of them knew what they were doing. It was a disgraceful decision, right? And so when that series went as it did, right? Brian Cashman, in the end of the season press conference, at the end of the season, he had a dossier. He had like a folder. He had a folder of excuses. And he started going through his excuses. Like, this is why the J-Hap move was great, blah, blah, blah. When J-Hap himself said he didn't like it. You know?
They didn't tell him about it until the 13th
He had
hour.
a folder of excuses. And when I listened to those excuses, I was like, oh no, my Yankees are broken. And it's never changed since then.
And Debbie Garcia never got a fair shot. It was never the same. We never got to see
never
what he
the
could have
same.
been.
No, it's not just that. It wasn't just that move in isolation. It was the microcosm of the fact that this organization takes no accountability at all. They take no responsibility. They refuse to look at their own mistakes, and they always blame it on everything else. And that was the series that started it. So yes, once again, the Rays are the team that are almost like our banana skin, because they show up the Yankees a lot, because they make because the Yankees think that they're the smartest guys in the room, but a team with a fraction of their payroll seem to manage players better than the Yankees, and the Yankees refuse to take any responsibility for anything. And so that series with the Davy Garcia and the J-Hap disaster, and Brian Cashman coming out with all his excuses and saying stuff like our process, I was like, uh-oh, our Yankees are broken. And guess what? Nothing has changed at all since then. Nothing.
Yep.
The Yankees are good, but not great. Every loss, there's an excuse. Performance, there's an excuse. Every managerial disaster from Aaron Boone is excused. Every fuck-up from Brian Cashman is excused. And that's why the Yankees have not taken a step forward. They haven't. Last year, they made a World Series, mostly on the back of Juan Soto. And that's where we're at. So forgive me for not getting overexcited over one win over Rays, because this seems to be what is a growing
It's like false hope.
Concern of mine that the Yankees refuse to take any responsibility. Had the Yankees even looked at themselves at all and went, right, how can we do better? How can we develop better? Who can we have as a coach at the big league level that's going to help an Anthony Volpe develop? Why, instead of just yelling at Joel Sherman like Brian Cashman did, saying that Anthony Volpe is going to rake and you're going to thank me, and blah, 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 blah. Instead of just yelling like a moron, I mean, they're going to step back going, right, how can I get the most out of Anthony Volpe? Is it sending him down to AAA? Or is it having a good coach at big league level that can maybe develop these players that need help? But no, instead of just yelling at the fans saying, how dare you boo him, yelling at this person, that, instead of doing all that, look at yourselves and go, how can I develop my players better? But they refuse to do it because this is not about accountability. This is not about responsibility. This is about selling chicken buckets, getting bums on seats, making a wild card, and going,
good job, everybody.
Look at our fantastic process. We are the best. We are the best of the best. It's embarrassing and it's shameful. We are the New York Yankees. We're the biggest organization in sports. Start acting like it.
Like, one thing I never understood was if you want things to change, then stop giving them your money. Don't go to the ballpark. Don't sign up for to watch the games. Boycott. That's not gonna. That stadium will never be empty because, like I said, the diehards are going to show up. Win, lose, or draw, that's our team. And if we have an opportunity to go and see them, like we're going to be there tomorrow, we'll be in section 202. Come look for us and say hello. But it's, one of those, if you quit now, like I always think, I know a couple of people that they do not watch baseball till the postseason. And then they're the first ones to show up at the parade like they've been there all year. You know what I mean? Like, that's the extreme fan that drives me absolutely crazy. I've talked about that for a couple of years. But, I mean, there are going to be fans that if they do decide to sell off, the Yankees quit on us. See, they don't care about us. They quit on us. And if they try going all in, they have, why are they giving up all their prospects? What about next year? Why are you only worrying about this year? What about the future? What about a dynasty run? Well, what do you want? What do you? I mean, I know. You know what I mean, Sanj.
They knocked out in the first round parade. But to be honest, that's the way that the Yankees handle things. They want a parade for making.
No, but that's also the way the fans are. I've been that way. I'm like, you know what? I'm not watching this shit no more. Like, I can't. There have been times during the years that I've done that. I'll put on the MLB app. I'll click on the track game and the score will be on the front of my phone, and I'll keep an eye on what's going on that way. And then there's time most of the time I'm locked in. I've done this to my boss when he's trying to talk to me because there's a big at bat going on, right? And I have to hear it, and they laugh at me because they get it. I'll get the work done. Just shut up. Judges at the plate.
Priorities. Let's ball.
I have my priorities. But let's not get this trade deadline causing all the fans to start fighting with each other. Because one side's not going to be happy, but it's still nothing's been. They can go like it could be a better 2016 if they do sell off some pieces. Because don't forget, we almost made the playoffs that year. I think we were a game or two short of making a wild card, and it was that Rays series that prevented us from getting to that win total. But we can, the Yankees can still go on a run. You never know. You could bring up these kids we could have 2017 with a bunch of nobodies that nobody, that most people have never heard of, actually carrying the club. So it's Ken, you NFV, and Pete with the calling all the games. My hat's off to you guys to putting yourselves through it.
Teron, is there anyone here that would mind growing pains promising Ross? Not at all.
No, I wouldn't. We've talked
Not
about
at all.
because you can still.
At least they're choosing a direction, and I've been saying that forever. It's not that the fact that the Yankees lose; it's just that the Yankees don't choose. If the Yankees go into an entire season going, "This is our direction. We want to develop our prospects," I would be all right with that. Because I'm perfectly patient with Cam Schlittler right now. I know he had kind of a dodgy first inning, but I was actually saying to myself, you know what? I actually quite like what I'm seeing here. He's got a really good fastball. He's got a nice slider. He's got some pitches here that you can work with. He just needs to develop a couple more off-speed pitches, and I think he's going to be good. So I was patient with him, even though he didn't have the greatest game, but I was like, I'm pretty patient with him because I like what I see. I like the fact that he has a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You can work with that. So I mean, I like
his poise on the mound. He looks so advanced.
I also like his very smooth delivery. So yes, I am actually quite patient with prospects. I'm not patient with Anthony Volpe because it's been 3 years, and he's actually regressed. So that's why I'm very critical of Anthony Volpe. And I've been very critical of the way that he's handled things in the media, going, do it again. That's not how you act. So, but everyone else, like Dominguez, I'm perfectly content. I know he's not the greatest outfielder in the world. I'm not going to say he is, but offensively, he's a machine. I'm very excited about that. And I want us to call up Spencer Jones, and I want us to play Spencer Jones. I think he's going to be an absolute monster. And if he's not,
they did not call him up
because I want to see our prospects. I like developing our prospects. So I am actually pretty patient with that. As long as I see upside there, I will be pretty patient. So it's not the fact that the Yankees, don't win 120 games every year. It's not really about that. It's about choosing a direction. And I was very frustrated last year that when they acquired Juan Soto, they did nothing else. Right? They left Verdugo to be your left fielder. They didn't really have a third baseman. And that's when you have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge on your lineup. It was absurd, And it took until the deadline to add Jazz Chisholm, and then you played him out of position. That's what it was absurd about it. And that was like, last year was the year to go all in, and they didn't go all in. And this year isn't the year to go all in. So that's why it's frustrating. The way that Brian Cashman runs this organization, it's absurd.
Yeah, I want to bring up this comment here from Ivan, and there's so many comments to go through. It's amazing. Well, I'm loving it. So the only superstar the Yankees have ever brought up in the system is Judge. All the other prospects have not panned out despite the hype. I would trade them for proven players that are controlled. Now, that's where things get a little murky in the water, right? Because yes, fact, of all the baby bombers that were called up, Judge is the last man standing, right? He's the one that actually proved to actually survive the Yankee development team, and strive and thrive in the major leagues to where arguably the best player that the game has right now. It all depends on how your outlook. I think he's the best ball player playing right now. And Ohtani is like Judge and Ohtani are 1A, 1B. And depends on what team you root for, you can insert the order of those however you want. But, I also, that's why you have to be patient with Dominguez. And that's what I want to bring this back to. He has not yet played a full season. He's just coming back from, he missed, he could have played last year. And they messed that up because they know best. But don't give up on this kid yet. Let him stay in left field. Don't move. Don't move him to center. Don't mess him up. I know left field look. Yankee Stadium left field is no secret. It's a very difficult outfield position. Nobody's arguing against that. They're not saying well, if you have the right player, it's easy. No, it's not. Because we've seen Bellinger have to kind of put it into second gear to catch up to some shit. And he's probably one of the best.
Godsend.
Belly. I'm gonna get to him too before, because like I said, I'm saving Belly with you for the positive of the end. This way, everybody goes on with their day. We're all feeling good, and that's where Bellinger and Fried will come into play. But I'm not ready to give up on Dominguez yet. I still think there's still something there to work with. It's not, you're not looking at Clint Frazier out there, guys. This is Dominguez is going to be fine in the outfield. He's got to get through this learning curve.
So we've got 80 people in the chat, Uncle Tad's, right? This is awesome. We've got tons of people in the chat. I want to ask you a question, Uncle T.
Go ahead.
We've got a lot to cover. I've been out for a while with vacation, so this is an opportunity to ask some serious questions. Aaron Boone has finally admitted that Anthony Volpe is struggling for the first time since forever, right? Defensively. Tats, what would you do with this situation? Do you maybe bench him for a couple of games and have Rosario play shortstop? Do you move him to AAA to get him figured out? Or do you just ride it out? How would you handle this Volpe situation?
All right, I'll take the choices in order. All right, I'll go from because it'll make sense. Writing it out is giving up on your season. Is to say we don't care about we don't value defense. That's what writing it out to me says. You guys could have a different interpretation of it. Me personally, I think if you just write it out with Volpe, then you are not taking your defensive assets seriously. Setting him down to the minors was the other option. I think that window's closed. I think the time to do that would have been early last year. Look, we gave you your rookie season. We let you work on some things. Things are still not clicking. Let's send you back down for a little while. Hit reset, and we'll you get things right. We'll get you back. But you got to write your own future. And I absolutely, I would say for the rest of the series, I'd have Rosario at short. I know he doesn't play a lot of games at short, but it can't be worse than what we have.
That's true. You've also got
you just traded, not that Beater was, like the hottest prospect, but Beater was a guy that's, he's had his call up. He's had his cup of coffee in the majors. So, and you're desperate for bullpen help, but let's trade one of our bullpen guys. You gave up on him that quick after some struggling, and that's what and we've been saying it. You brought it up earlier. It's the red carpet for Volpe that's pissing everybody off.
Absolutely.
Not the fact that he's struggling. We get it. Baseball is a difficult sport, especially on the highest level. Nobody, especially a shortstop, right? But the fact that there's been zero correction about Volpe that's where everybody's starting to turn. He had a good game yesterday with the bat. I wasn't pissed off because he got had the home run and got his that insurance run. Then he had 2 RBIs yesterday. I wasn't booing him for it. I was cheering. Like, all right, Volpe. Ignore the noise and play your game. But it's just yesterday was just a flash in the pan. Because what happened? That's what it is. It's the defense. The bat will come around. He's got the bat. But Max Fried's line at the end of the game looks a lot different if Volpe knows how to play his position.
Well, that's right. That's right. And to be honest, the Yankees are getting exactly what they deserve.
You turn around, you're down 2 runs. Why? Because it was hit the shortstop.
The Yankees are getting exactly what they deserve with Anthony Volpe. They deserve this. They deserve this. They deserve to eat this because they are the reason why Volpe is not taking a step forward. because they have not been proactive with Anthony Volpe. They have not been proactive with him. All they've done, and as it rewinds back to like 10, 15 minutes ago when I was like, the Yankees refuse to take accountability or responsibility for anything, they prefer to blame everybody else, blame fans, blame media, blame anything, gaslight you, instead of looking at themselves going, how can I help develop Volpe better? What they've done by just saying, for instance, when Volpe had the worst fielding percentage in the American League, he was leading the league in errors. Nothing has changed in that regard.
Now he was tied. Now he's leading
right,
all
but
positions.
This was a month ago. This was a month ago.
Yeah.
And what did Aaron Boone say? He's the best. He's fucking elite. He's elite, right?
They got to get that word out of their fucking vocabulary.
How has that helped him? Because you're basically lying to yourself. You're delusional, and you're not helping him. Because instead of working on his deficiencies, being proactive with his deficiencies, owning up to his deficiencies and fixing the problem, they've just wrote it out there and gaslit everybody else, saying what you're seeing is not reality. He is fucking elite. That is delusional, and it's actually hurt him. It's hurt the situation. It's made Volpe a hell of a lot worse than he actually is. And that's because of them. What they should have done is owned up to this situation and been proactive a month or two ago. That was the time to do it. They should have done what the Mets did with Alvarez. Send down AAA, fix the problem, bring him back up.
Yep.
Right? Or you hire a coach that's known for good development. Right? Hire him.
Billy Randolph.
Right. And have him work with Anthony Volpe. But what the Yankees did was the Yankees were more interested in having a New Jersey local, New Jersey native that met Derek Jeter play shortstop, right? And they just flew him right through the system before he was ready, and they just wanted to plaster his name all over posters, plaster his name on plastic lunchboxes, and sell Volpe bobbleheads for marketing purposes and developing this kid. They flew him through AAA in order to have him play shortstop for marketing purposes rather than what is best for the Yankees. The worst possible thing that could have happened was him winning the Gold Glove in his first year, because then the Yankees looked at themselves like, yes, we did it. We are the best. We are the best, right? And then they basically, since then, they have deserved this. They totally deserve this. And I hope that they enjoy this, because his slumps and his defensive slumps and his errors and all these mistakes is mostly down to them, because they've lied to themselves. They've been delusional. They're delusional about his abilities, and they're delusional, and they've attacked the fan base. They've attacked the media for calling him out, for asking, what are you doing with Anthony Volpe? Why is Anthony Volpe regressing this much? And instead, Aaron Boone is going on a microphone screaming, he's fucking elite. He's fucking elite. You're delusional. He's not fucking elite. So I have to say that. It's just
that's why a lot of the ire spins towards Boone, on top of all the other shit that we blame him for. I remember, what was the big argument with Torres? Right, he looked lazy. It looked like his heart wasn't in it. He just wasn't staying focused. He was making all these mistakes. They move on from him because we were done. New York, he was not gonna survive yet. Right, and it was so Torres now with the Tigers, he made the All-Star team.
Yep.
Torres is he's having a great year, and I'm happy for him, because he got out of a toxic organization that's not going to really. they're going to cheer on and hype up all their players. But unless you're actually also on top of it, working on their skill development, what good is it? You can pat Volpe on the back, calling him elite all you want. It's not changing you. All that talk is not changing his approach to the game. He needs some serious coaching.
He does.
He's not getting it.
And his arm strength is a real problem, man.
Oh my God, every ball's in the dirt. And then they go, and then I saw some people that was saying that, the second error was on Goldschmidt. No, if the ball goes to his chest, Goldschmidt's catching it.
Yeah.
He can't scoop everything. I mean, this guy's constantly, every throw from shortstop is like he's fielding a ground ball. That
Let's
you
not
can't
forget
survive that.
when he got called up, he was called up for his bat. And you can see occasionally that he has a decent swing occasionally because he hit that 452 foot bomb just yesterday. So there was something there, but the problem with the swing is it's very inconsistent, and he loses it very easily. There's something there to be worked with. I'm not saying he's the worst thing you're ever going to see. He's got something, but his swing is very inconsistent. He loses it very easy. He gets out in front, and he ends up like kneeling down a lot when he's swinging and missing. It's just got a huge hole there. But occasionally he flashes something that's tantalizing. Defensively, it's the problem. It's regressed massively. So, but the Yankees have done that to themselves. All you needed to do is take responsibility a month ago, see what the problem is, be proactive about it. Either bench him, either work with him in AAA, or they had to do something instead of screaming he's fucking elite, because that's insulting. It's insulting to our intelligence, and it's shameful. Absolutely shameful. So the Yankees deserve this. Let's get into some trade deadline talk. We have 10 minutes or so, maybe more. We'll see how things go. But we need to get into this trade deadline discussion. Which bullpen moves, Uncle Tats, are you hearing that the Yankees are involved in? I'll name something. Per Joel Sherman, A's all-star closer Mason Miller, or A's star closer Mason Miller, will be coveted by any contender, including the Dodgers, Yankees, and Mets, per Joel Sherman. What would you give up to acquire a monster like Mason Miller?
That's where you're going to have to loosen the grip on one of your untouchables.
Yeah.
It's the reality of it. It might cost you, if you want to save Jones and Lombard. It'll probably cost you Cam. You could probably, I would actually dangle. I know this is going to upset a lot of the fan base, but it is what it is. But not that I'm rooting for it, but it would probably cost you like a Ben Rice, maybe. So it's going to maybe dangle Grisham for them. I think it's going to take. You're going to look at guys that are already on the major in the major leagues, in a trade for Miller. He's that good. And I think the only reason that they're interested in talks on Miller is the emergence of Kurtz. Because I think the way he's playing, he's going to be the guy that he's going to be their superstar for the move. He's going to be the guy they hype up.
So you're thinking that what is there someone like Spencer Jones? Would you make Spencer Jones available for Mason Miller?
Because of the controllable years, you might have to.
Oh,
I wouldn't be happy about it, but that might be because otherwise, maybe offer them to make
Spencer Jones. No fucking way. I'm with Donnie here. Jones Lombard.
What about
Duran, no, absolutely no.
Well, Duran's the ace pitchers are. I know. Last year we were like, stay away from the A's for the trades. But I think Mason Miller is kind of like the exception to the rule. Um, well, until it's a rumor.
Joel
After
Sherman,
the
I mean, it's pretty.
yeah,
The only reason why I even mention it is because Joel Sherman. So,
well,
um,
the one thing I've been saying the last couple of shows, Donald, while you've been on vacation, is the phrase "all in." I have stopped using that. I want Cashman to be aggressive, because if you want the Yankees to go all in, then you have to put everybody on the table. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's my premise of it. So if I want Cashman to be aggressive, maybe it might. If you really want to hold on to Jones, they, what if the A's ask for Schlittler and Dominguez? You making that move?
no, I've said it for a while here. This is not the year to go all in.
Yeah, no. I understand that. But I'm saying, we do need bullpen help. But who would you? Because I don't think there's really anybody that, especially because it's the A's, and I don't trust the A's pitching. So you know what? I'm not I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to make that call to the A's. I would just pick a different team to look for bullpen help.
Okay, so on that point, Jesse Rogers of ESPN says the Yankees are heavily linked with Ryan Helsley. They have resources deployed throughout the league in search of bullpen arms. If there is a closer or setup man available, New York is scouting him. Think Ryan Helsley.
Helsley's had a good season.
Would you guys? Yeah, Donnie Clark says Helsley. Would you guys want Helsley? Uncle Tats.
Well, there's a lot of players that we would we all want. It's the debate always lands on who you're going to give up. If they're all calling saying, if you want one of our guys, you have to put Jones or Lombard on the table. And this is part of the problem that Cashman ends up with a lot is, whether people want to believe it or not, the Yankee tax. So it's because nobody's jumping through hoops to help the Yankees win. I don't care what organization you're on.
Well, let's have a look at Ryan Helsley's stats. 1.1 wins above replacement is pretty solid. 3-1 record. 3 ERA. 41 strikeouts in 36 innings. 1.3 WHIP. He has a career ERA of 2.67. That's very strong. He has, in his career, he has 355 strikeouts and 299 innings pitched. He's the kind of big arm reliever that would certainly help this rotation. It's just laughable, though, that you see an update from like Curry yesterday saying Brian Cashman is looking for swing and miss stuff for the bullpen. We have been screaming that since the last offseason. Why do they just stumble into each deadline going, oh, wow, maybe we do need some swing and miss stuff? Well, you should have acquired some of this stuff in the offseason. Why are you waiting to the deadline to do these things? It's mind-boggling. But yes, Ryan Helsley would definitely be an upgrade. I like that move. I think that there's something that you can work with there. Big strikeout dude. He'd instantly improve this bullpen. This bullpen is shot, so the Yankees definitely need someone like that. So I'd be very much intrigued about a Ryan Helsley deal. I anticipate that they're going to bring in a huge arm. I'm just wondering where it's going to come from. But I think Helsley would be a very good option. Another one would be Bednar. David Bednar of the Pirates. You know that Brian Cashman loves to acquire Pirates. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the Pirates are the only worse run organization than the Yankees. But he's someone who I've always been a fan of. He's just had a disastrous 2023 where he posted a 5.77 ERA. But he's starting to come. He has a 2.37 ERA over his last 38 innings. And he's averaging around 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's also a ground ball pitcher. So there's a lot of things that you can work with there. And he's a big swing and miss dude. The Pirates are going to want a lot.
We need a swing and miss guy.
Yeah.
Enough of the ground ball pitches.
And Bednar's also controllable.
Yeah. Well, he's a great ground ball pitcher, but have you seen our shortstop? What good does a ground ball pitcher do?
Well, that's a good point.
Let's get some swing and miss guys. Let's start there. All these finesse pitches. It's not helping us. It's actually, I think that's the problem what's held the bullpen back. That's why their numbers look as atrocious as they do. That's why they're throwing so many pitches in so many innings. The defense. It's not the pitches. The pitches, he's a ground ball pitcher. You get the ground ball and there's an error. Get this guy off the mound. Well, he did his job. He got the ground ball.
Is there any other names you could?
Let's a little side rant. It drives me nuts with all the complaints about the. How about if our manager actually let the put trust in the starters to go deeper into a game? We wouldn't be putting so much pressure on the bullpen. But no, we got to have these. We get guys like Stroman, who can't pitch his way out of a paper bag. Let's keep him in the rotation. And have him. Have to take him out. It's the pitching has been so like we talk about with the mismanagement with Volpe. Starters not going deep into games anymore is why our bullpen is so beat up this year.
Yeah, that's why it wasn't.
That's not even going back to your reference from earlier with all the mismanagement with injuries. Mark Leiter is actually looking like it was going to be a back end of the rotation type guy. No, but he was a middle relief that you could kind of depend on. If we lose Tim Hill, we're fucked. But Tim Hill's the most effective when the bases are loaded. It's that that's why this is not the year to go all in like we've been talking about, because there's so many issues.
Another name that we've been linked with, and this would be awful. This would be awful. Andrew Heaney. We've already been there.
No, come on.
Good God. No. This was from John Heyman. Andrew Heaney.
Shut up, John.
That would be awful, but it kind of sounds like it would be a Brian Cashman move, because Brian Cashman loves Pirates, for one. He loves them some Pittsburgh Pirates. Loves them. Two, he loves guys that have failed as Yankees. He wants to bring them back. How about Nick Johnson? How about Javi Vasquez? And
wait, call up J.A. Happ. Maybe he wants to, right the wrongs.
Why not bring back Andrew Heaney? He was horrible as a Yankee. He was absolutely horrible. And I don't want him anywhere near the bullpen. Heaney had a 7.32 ERA as a Yankee. He gave up 13 home runs. And it's a very short spell as a Yankee. 13. And that was in just like half a year. If that.
I know Sonny Gray's name came up earlier in the chat. I think it was Donnie. No, been there, done that. And look, Sonny Gray has had a great career when he's not pitched for the Yankees. And I understand that Rothschild's not here anymore to fuck up his pitching, but leave Sonny Gray alone. He's having a fine career where he is.
Dennis Santana. Yeah, that was another name that the Yankees have been linked with. Dennis
Yeah,
Santana.
let's just oh.
Uh,
Let's get back Aaron Hicks to take care of Judge's spot until he gets back. I mean, really, what are we doing here?
Don't tempt him. Don't tempt him.
Yeah, I know. I
how much
speak it into existence.
Aaron Hicks. But Dennis Santana is actually genuinely pitching very, very well for the Pirates. He's got a 1.36 ERA.
I do have one talking point that I want to bring up while we're on the trademark. The whole issue with Class A. How much does that really turn the deadline upside down with him being sidelined because of the gambling? Or alleged?
Well, I mean, I don't
know. He was lined up to be a hot commodity.
I don't know about like the effect that it has on the deadline. But what I will say is this is the consequences of these organizations jumping into bed with betting and promoting betting.
You can't get away from
it. It's everywhere now, and now you're starting to see the consequences of it. You've seen Ohtani's interpreter involved in gambling. Now you're seeing a star closer involved in gambling. This is the consequences. This is the consequences of jumping into bed with something that is a disease for some people, and they haven't taken it seriously. And it's all about the money, but that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So baseball are starting to get what they deserve, and they're going to try and sweep it under the rug like they swept Ohtani's under the rug. But Class A is just
Class A. Well, he's not Ohtani.
He's not, but he was still a star caliber player, and it's a horrible look for baseball. But when every advert you're seeing gambling being promoted, this is the problem. This is the problem.
Like you see it on all the broadcasts, you hear it, but even when you're on the radio, they'll give you the betting lines.
Yep.
And all the well, DraftKings has, Judge winning the MVP by this amount of points over. Like, if you keep dangling the carrot in front of the horse, it's going to bite it eventually. So just, I mean, it's a corny analogy, but it's really true. Look, we've gone over. I know the reason I bring it up. Look, we've talked about gambling in sports quite often on the channel, right? As a guy that had a gambling problem, right? If it's constantly in your face, is the more you try to avoid it, the more the temptation will come.
Yeah,
because I could walk into a store that has all the lottery tickets and the whatever, and I'm at that point where I'm like, I'm good. But if it's following me everywhere, like if I worked at a store that had lotto, I'd probably have a problem still. Because it's constantly in your face. These guys, you can't go into bed and get all this marketing from the gambling companies and then penalize your players when they do it. Look, you could watch me enjoy all this money that I'm getting, but you can't have any of it. You just sit there and stare at my stack of cash. They want their piece of the pie too. Is it were they wrong for gambling while they're active players? Absolutely.
Well, it's disgraceful.
There's no excuse. If you're a baseball player and you make a can they bet on other sports? I don't think so, right? That's a good question. If they bet on a football game, is it the same penalty?
Whoa, I think the Yankees have some breaking news here.
Whoop, let's go.
The Yankees have acquired Austin Slater from the White Sox, according to Jack Curry.
Yeah, Ken's saying it here as well.
He has an 859 OPS and a 522 slug against left-handed pitchers this season and plays the corner outfield. He is a 32-year-old outfielder who's played some first base in his career. It gives the Yankees some more flexibility. He has 721 OPS and a +1 outs above average in the outfield.
What's his controllable years? Do we know?
Well, let's get that information up. So we do have some breaking news on the Pinstripe Chronicles. Unbelievably, 42 seconds ago. That is pretty cool that we get to break some news for you guys. And that's why you all got to check out the Pinstripe Chronicles. Hit the like button, hit the sub button. Now let's go and explore this move in depth. Austin Slater. It was very interesting because I was literally
who he gave up.
It just says a minor leaguer. I assume it won't be of any significance. All right, let's have a look and see his stats. Okay, here we go. He's only had 123 at bats so far this year, so he's very much just a depth piece. On base percentage is not good, of just 299, but OPS 721, OPS +99, which is slightly below average. Let's see here. Let's see what he's been doing this year. 5 homers, 11 RBIs in 51 games. In 2024, for Baltimore, he played just 33 games. One home run.
He's a bench piece.
He's a bench piece. The Yankees are clearly trying to upgrade their bench.
Now, what makes this interesting is if they now move on, are they going to try to sell on Grisham high? Being that he's
he's a corner outfielder, so it has nothing to do with Grisham. I'm thinking that this is about Aaron Judge. They don't want Judge to be playing too much right field with that injury. I think you're going to see Aaron Judge DH and for a bunch, and they're hoping that maybe
somebody's got. How many DHs are they going to have? You're going to Judge at DH. Then you got Stanton, Ben Rice. You know, I mean, guys have to get days off.
Here's the thing. What are you going to do with Big G? If Aaron Judge is DHing, what are you going to do with DH?
That's the thing. And I'm not worried about more so with Big G because I think Judge DH is temporary. I think it's just going to DH for a couple of series and then he'll be back in the outfield.
Perhaps, but I hope that's if everything goes to plan.
If everything goes to plan, absolutely. You know, I'm trying to keep a positive mind with Judge. But yeah, they're. I mean, I know they were talking to. Can't say the next move could be a Rice. I think Rice is going. I think either Rice or Grisham are going to be.
Why would they trade Ben Rice?
Because a lot of teams want him. A catcher, first baseman. Me, I would have.
Rice is trade.
I wouldn't want to move on from Rice. I think Rice is too valuable for this team going forward this year.
Old Sarge I think is right here. The plan is to slow walk Judge's injury. We may have seen the last of Judge this season. I don't think
Well, then
that
you know
will be
what?
the case
Then sell off.
because,
Then.
first of all, the
Come on.
Yankees want bums on seats, and they want to sell 99 burgers, and they're going to do that with Aaron Judge being injured. So they're going to play Aaron Judge through higher hell water.
No,
He'll be DHing for a
if
lot.
they're going to sit Judge for the rest of the season, they better fucking call up Jones, because otherwise there's going to be nothing to go watch.
I think you're going to see Aaron Judge DHing for a while, and I think this move is going to be something where Austin Slater will occasionally play some corner outfield along with Dominguez and Bellinger, and they're hoping that eventually Aaron Judge will be okay to play right field. But I think they'll be cautious with that. But what they do with Stanton is anyone's guess, because Stanton, if you play him in the outfield and he gets a groin injury by being on the outfield,
And what?
tracking down a ball in right field, then you've lost your best postseason hitter. Big G is the Yankees' best postseason hitter. There is no argument about it. That is it. It's not Aaron Judge. It's Big G. Big G is your best postseason hitter. You need to have Big G healthy for the postseason. You need to be prioritizing that. You're going to have him playing outfield with two tennis elbows. Good Lord. Good Lord. I mean, what's he going to do? You want his big tennis elbows to be throwing balls to home plate?
No.
Right field? Unbelievable. I don't know what the Yankees are doing. It's a worry. I'm very worried about it. Stanton should be the DH only.
Look,
But
I don't want
to play every day.
Hold on, Donald. Hold on. Now, not that I'm saying that you're lying to us, but where's Robert Murray? Is he reliable? Did we really just get Adrian Hauser?
All right. Let's more breaking news. This is wild. All right, let's see here. Yes, let's see here. Adrian Hauser. So, obviously we're still getting a lot of stuff on Austin Slater. Let's see what's going on with Adrian Hauser. Yeah. MLB Pipeline says the Yankees are reportedly acquiring Hauser and Austin Slater from the White Sox. Diamond Sports Network, the Yankees are acquiring Adrian Hauser. It looks like it's a double deal.
So Hauser was in with the Slater move.
Yes.
Okay. See, now it makes a little more sense. Because Hauser is the guy that they really were talking about.
This is wild. We've now got two moves during this podcast. I think this is history.
Oh.
Yes, it is. This is the first big trade the Yankees have acquired. The White Sox ace, Adrian Hauser.
Yeah, I want to know who he gave up, though.
Hauser has an ERA of 2.10 over 11 starts this season for the Sox.
334.
This is
he's solid arm. Solid arm. I like getting Hauser. And if it's Hauser and Slater, the move makes a lot more sense. You got a bullpen help, and you have some insurance for your outfield. Now it looks like it's coming a little bit more together. And then Lucas saying that Hauser was pretty crappy with the Mets last year. Seems to thrive in the smaller market. Well, even with the Mets' infamous pitching lab, we have Matt Blake. So I'm not worried. I think our pitching is fine. I think it's in good hands with Matt.
But the thing is, I need to see a bigger source than
because there's been nothing, no alerts from the MLB app. And believe me, all my notifications are on today. And the Yankees haven't put anything out for 12 hours on their social media account.
I'm not sure if it's a 100% yet.
Oh, no, he's correcting himself. Hold on.
Right.
See, I know. I'm like, wait a minute. It was Austin Slater. Nah, it's all good. That's why I was like, it didn't sound right. But it actually was starting to make sense with Hauser, because Hauser's a guy that I wanted.
So is it not happening?
It's just Austin Slater, it seems. No Hauser. We'll find out.
Yeah, because I was looking at
we'll dive into it and find out what's going on.
This is wild.
But right now, all the baseball accounts they're still asleep.
So yeah, John Heyman says Hauser is scratched. He hasn't been traded yet, but they're holding him out in anticipation of a deal by 6 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Robert Murray, at Robert Murray, Hauser was not traded to the Yankees. It was Austin Slater. I apologize for the error.
Okay. So Robert Murray is the one that put Hauser's name in the announcement.
Yeah, it was. Okay. It was Robert Murray. He writes for Fansided, and he's an MLB insider, and he has.
Right, and we got.
But as I say, MLB Pipeline have now deleted it. Okay. Man, Robert Murray really screwed things. I apologize, guys. We're just going by.
Why can't we have nice things? You know.
So it looks like all the accounts.
What's going on, Issy?
It looks like all the accounts that were running with him have now deleted it. So maybe it happens later, but it's not happening right now.
No, and Donnie, it was big news for us because without fail, every time we go off air is when all the news comes out. And so the fact that we were still on while things were coming out, it just got us a little fired up for a second. No, Slater, it's not moving the needle. It's just insurance.
You're right. I mean, he doesn't have huge numbers or anything like that. It's just another platoon player and a Yankee roster of platoon players. So it doesn't really move me. But what's up, Issy? Thank you. So Gage Zeal, a right-handed pitcher who's pitched at single-A and Double-A this season, will be sent to the White Sox in the Austin Slater deal. Slater isn't big news. No, it definitely is not.
No, no, like I said, it's not a needle mover. It was something was actually looked like something was happening while we were live. We never get that. Yeah, Arson Judge to San Francisco, Ivan. You're right.
That's a massive L by Robert Murray, though.
Yeah, don't play with people. Not today. You can't make mistakes like that.
Arson Judge to San Francisco. Yeah. It's in there. I mean, he will be moved. That's guaranteed. Maybe he will be a Yankee, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be right now.
Maybe Hauser is coming, and they held back the announcement because maybe one side or the other changed their had its second thoughts of who is we getting moved for who. So let's not say it's completely out the window.
But I do think it would be a good idea to do a trade deadline show after the deadline, even for a half hour or something. We'll see if we can get that done because you can see there's some massive interest in that.
Something's going on.
Yeah, there's really moves to be made, and the Yankees are going to be very, very active in bullpen arms we're almost at an hour and a half, and we've almost got 100 strong watching. So I can't thank you guys enough. Sorry but we were just running with the rumors, as I say. The Twitter was running with it. So unfortunately,
it looked good for a second.
Unfortunately,
we did the show last year, Donnie. We really tried to. But yeah, it was. Wow, was it that long of a show? 6 hours, Don? Yeah.
Tats, did you do a show for 6 hours last deadline?
I think he's right. But the only thing look, Donald and I are going to be at the game tomorrow, so I don't count on a 6-hour stream. But
do we know what the weather's looking like for tomorrow? Is it? It looks kind of dodgy. Tats' dog has something to say about the matter. No, I was looking at it says it's going to rain all day tomorrow, but I hope not.
Well, the list I saw yesterday.
Thank you, Ivan. We're trying to make things entertaining in a very unentertaining season. Thank you, my guy.
So even if it does rain, it's not going to rain a lot.
Oh, okay. So it's not meant to be heavy.
And it's less than 40% at game time.
Oh, okay. So we should be okay.
The majority of the rain will be between 6 and 9 o'clock.
Oh. So they should be able to get it in.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then, all right, look, a couple of guys are saying that Gage Zeal is going to the Sox.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I just said. So
I got distracted by the dog.
Yeah, Zeal. That's a
so
bit
again,
of
another move where we didn't have to give up anything of significance.
It's a bit of a nothing move.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I don't know. None of these moves really moving the needle for me. I don't quite.
No. Like the only one was the McMahon move. That was the only one that really got me hyped up.
I'd be fascinated what their plan is with Austin Slater. I think it has a lot to do with Aaron Judge as insurance in case Judge can't play the outfield much, or maybe they want to spell him. So they've acquired some righty bats that are good against lefties. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Here's his numbers versus lefties this year, even though he's not played a lot. So we shouldn't get overly excited. But against lefties this year, he's got a 261 batting average, 338 on base percentage, 552 slug, 859 OPS, which is very, very good, and a 137 weighted runs created plus. So all very, very above average. The Yankees are clearly planning on him facing lefties. The Yankees will be good against lefties, no doubt about it. But I'll be interested to see how much they're going to try and play Rosario and Slater.
And now Slater. But if Slater takes the bats away from Dominguez, I'm going to be pissed off about the move. If Rosario takes the bats away from Volpe, I'm going to like the move.
I think we should try and get more. I think we should try and get more games for Rosario. He's far too good to be just a simple bench player. He can play.
He's not a guy that you play once a week.
No, he's someone
you got to get him involved. Slater once a week, twice a week to get somebody off their feet. I'm okay with.
He's legitimately someone that can play. So you want to try and get him
if he starts playing every day over Dominguez, then there's going to be a riot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
I mean, the pieces are there. We've now got a strong bench, and they've added some righty bats to try and correct their mistake in the offseason by having too many lefty bats. They've tried to correct it.
Balancing it out. Yeah, it's balancing out.
It's not really a needle mover, but it is nonetheless a move. So we'll see. We will see. It looks like for sure that we're not going to see much of Spencer Jones. I think clearly they want Spencer Jones to be in AAA the rest of the way, I guess. So the outfield, as you will see it, will be Slater, Bellinger. Maybe you'll hopefully still see Aaron. Hopefully he's not going to be the full-time DH, depending on his injury. Got Dominguez, and you got Grisham. I think that'll be your outfield lineman, and we will see how it goes from there. So we have had a lot to talk about, and we could probably fill another hour and a half. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's watched the Pinstripe Chronicles today on X. Tons of people on X that are watching, and tons of people on YouTube that are watching too. So you can see everyone's excited about the deadline, and all kinds of moves have happened. So big thank you to everyone that's tuned in. If y'all that are watching on X could hop on over to YouTube and hit that like button and hit that sub button, it helps the algorithms. And we want to try and continue to grow this thing. And we will try and get a show in after the Yankee game. Yep. We will try and get a show in later on to talk about the deadline once it's passed, and talk about what moves the Yankees have or haven't made. It will be a fascinating move, and we will talk about our experience at Yankee Stadium. And if anyone that's watching are go to the game tomorrow, or is just planning, you know what, I might just go and get myself a seat in the bleachers. Come and say hello. We will be around.
We're in section 202 tomorrow.
Yeah, we would love to meet our fans. So that would be very, very cool. Big thank you to everyone watching. This has been the Pinstripe Chronicles. Uncle Tats, close it out.
All right. As Donald already said, if you want to hit that like button, hit that sub button. If you want to join our chats in the future and help us with the algorithm, also share this out with your friends, your family, the strangers on the corner. This is the Pinstripe Chronicles with Uncle Tats. Donald, Friday, Rob will be returning with us. Looking forward to getting his point of view on everything as we break down all the moves on the trades that go about throughout major leagues. So with that, and always wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.